Roughly 65% of the United States population live paycheck to paycheck. And the reason is because a lot of people have been conditioned to only work to pay bills and nothing more, nothing less. So what I want to share with you in this video is to show you how do you turn your income into an avenue to help you build wealth and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Now, the first thing you have to understand that the primary source for you to actually create wealth is your job. Most people trade time for dollars, working 9 to 5, which is okay. So let's assume that you're bringing in $75,000 a year. Now, we all know that this is not your take home pay because you do have to pay taxes. So we'll say, for simplicity's sake, that you're paying $15,000 a year on this, which leaves you at $60,000 in annual income. The mistake that a lot of people make is that they take this 60,000 and solely focus on using it to maintain their lifestyle. All right? So they essentially work to pay bills. Now, one of the most important elements that people fail to realize, to see as the avenue to build wealth is what's missing here, right? Even though it's not categorized under expenses, is the word savings. Okay? Your ability to save a portion of your income. If your goal is to build wealth and stop living paycheck to paycheck, you must understand that a portion of what you earn is yours to keep. Now, I can already hear some people saying, Depot, I can't afford to save a portion of my income because what I'm earning right now is not even enough to pay my bills. And my response has always been the same when people tell me that. Well, you can't afford to pay Uncle Sam $15,000 a year in taxes, but yet Uncle Sam forcefully takes the money out of your paycheck and somehow you're able to survive on $60,000 a year. So what I simply tell people is this: why don't you become your own Uncle Sam? All right, where you're taking a portion of your income and you're setting it aside to put you in the position to be able to build wealth. Because without savings, you're not able to attract certain opportunities. All right. It's important for you to know that money attracts money. Money attracts opportunities. So you having some level of cash reserve puts you in a position to attract certain opportunities that you wouldn't have been able to attract if you didn't have any sort of savings. Okay. So how much of your income should you be saving every single month? The general rule of thumb is 10%. So that means if you're bringing in $60,000 every year, at the end of the 12 months, you should have roughly about $6,000 saved up. Now, if genuinely speaking, you can't do $6,000 a year because of what you have going on, then why don't you do 5%? And if you can't do 5%, why don't you do 2%? You see, the idea is not necessarily on how much you're saving. It's more about cultivating the habit of building a savings account by doing something on a consistent basis. So that's the first thing you must understand, that if you're going to stop living paycheck to paycheck, if you're going to stop robbing Peter to pay Paul, you must save a portion of your income for opportunity purposes. The second thing you must understand is reducing your monthly expenses. See, a lot of people right now are living in homes, in apartments that their income can't really afford. So they're working all these hours to live, to pay their rent, but truthfully speaking, they can't afford it. A lot of people are driving cars that they can't afford, even though they look good driving those cars. See, until you become truthful with yourself and you realize that you can't continue going in the same direction, you're going to have to start making some drastic decisions because you can't become wealthy following the same pattern year after year. All right. Now, another thing you got to consider is what are some of the expenses that you currently have that you really don't need? For example, if you have cable, if you have Netflix and you're living paycheck to paycheck, you have no business, zero business watching television, right? You need to get rid of certain subscriptions, right? And start looking at For example, how can you cut down on your car insurance rate and how much you're paying? Do you need to find another insurance company? Or can you call your existing carrier and find out what can you do to lower your payment? Why? Because the more you're able to save on your current expenditures, the more money you're able to put away for investment opportunities. It's very important for you to know that those two things, being able to save a portion of your income and being able to reduce some of your current liabilities, will put you in a position to get out of debt faster and stop living paycheck to paycheck. Okay, which now brings me to point number three. Once you're able to build a nest egg, it may not happen overnight, but once you have something substantial, then you can start seizing income producing opportunities. All right. So for example, when you have money, you can invest in stocks. When you have money, you can invest in crypto. All right. Depending on how much money you have, if you have something substantial, you can invest in real estate. Okay. These are all avenues that you can use to generate additional income. All right. My favorite is developing or learning new skills. Okay. This is my favorite. Why? Because there's never been a time in history where you can learn a new skill that's relevant to the time that we're in to create wealth and other streams of income. Right? There's certain things that you don't know right now, but you can learn to generate extra stream of cash flow. All right. So this might require you taking a course. You need money to be able to do that. This may require you going back to get some level of certificate that puts you in a position to earn additional stream of income. See, everything is subject to having some level of cash. All right. So learning a new skill for me personally is the most important. All right. In some instances, you may not even need money. You can go on YouTube to learn something new. There's certain things that I do now that I learned outside of the four-year institutions, outside of me getting a master's degree that put me in a position to earn, multiple five figures every single month because I learned a new skill. All right. So that's something to consider. Another one is e-commerce, where you're able to sell things online. I mean, if you're on TikTok these days, you'll see people constantly selling other people's product that they don't even have. You'll see people selling their own product and they're making thousands of dollars every single month because of e-commerce. So there are really no excuses as to why you're not actually getting out of debt, why you're not earning more than you're spending, right? The only excuse that you have is maybe you're not capable. But we already said that you can learn new skills. All right? So let's say with all these opportunities on a monthly basis, all right, you're able to generate an extra $10,000. And by the way, people are doing this on a daily basis. But I'm just being generous and say, hey, if you start being real serious and you're determined to get out of debt and living paycheck to paycheck, you can make any of this happen. All right. So, however long this is going to take you, but you start making extra $10,000 a month, we added on this side that puts you to an extra 120,000. I know some of you may not believe this, but this is extremely doable. All right, extremely doable. Now, what happens here is that because you have more money coming in, you're not able to easily pay your rent. You're able to even pay your mortgage faster. You're able to pay off your car note. You're able to pay off your credit cards, able to pay off your student loan. All right. And as you begin to do that, you're able to now take all the monies that was going towards all these different things and you start to save more. And the more money you save, the more opportunities that you can seize. So you can see that everything is pretty much flowing together. It all starts with your income. If you are working right now and you have something coming in every single month, you are already wealthy. The only difference is what are you doing with the money that you have coming in every single month? Because if you don't have a good hold on your money, then the chances are you're not going to be able to spend. You'll be spending frivolously, save, you'll be spending frivolously on things that you don't need to impress people you don't like, and you're foregoing opportunities to help you build wealth. So remember these three things. Number one, save at least 10% of your income no matter what. And if you can't do that, start with what you can. Number two, reduce your expenditures, right? Whatever you need to cut down to be able to save more, do that. And number three, start investing in income producing assets. But most importantly, learn new skills because the more valuable you are, the more money you will earn. And the more you earn, the more likely you are able to get out of debt faster and become financially free.